Restaurant punk in the house.
Welcome back.
Welcome.
It has been a full moon and we are all out of our minds this week.
We sure are. This is great.
This is fun.
How is everybody feeling?
Good. Feeling great.
You guys color coordinate today?
Yes, we did.
Yeah, telepathically.
Wow. You guys both look fabulous.
That's what happens when you become best friends, as Nico emphasizes to our plumbers.
What does Yanni say? What do we got? What do we got?
What do we got?
What do we got?
What you want to talk about?
What do we guys got?
I want to talk about something because I feel like we're about to go through it.
Oh, shit.
Hiring.
Oh, that's fun.
So one thing to touch on, it's kind of like there's layers. One, hiring friends and family. Dun, dun, dun.
Somebody has experience there.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And
all
then
of us.
two, which I want to like eventually gear into, is we are a part of a restaurant group. We have multiple restaurants, multiple establishments have their own owners and kind of have their own staff for the most part.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are shared. How do we think that affects each establishment in itself?
I see what you're saying, because
You know what I mean?
there's people that work over 2, 3, 4 of the restaurants getting interchanged, and with 3, if you're operating one, I am, you are, Yanni is, and we're all have an employee.
Create sparks of like,
Yeah.
okay, well, you've had them 3 times this week. It's like a custody battle.
All right, let's start with the family. Let's start with A.
Friends and family.
Friends and family.
Go.
Nico.
Yes, Peter. Tell me what.
What family members work with you or have you worked with in the past?
Well, everybody that I work with is family to me, but specifically, I mean,
Just kidding. I love you.
before the restaurant group, my family's owned many restaurants as well. We're not going to get into that right now, but I've worked with family nonstop, and it's just the biggest pain in the ass. It really is.
Please,
the biggest pain
Nico,
in the
go
ass.
into detail.
No, I will not.
We
because,
love you, Mama.
Well, no, I wasn't talking about Mama specifically, but
Saying she might be watching.
it's you can't really. There's always a lot of yelling.
Greeks.
There's a lot of expectations.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of you can't be creative because it's strict. It's old school. You can't do this. You can't do that. So,
Well, are you talking from an owner's perspective and having family work for you, or working for
that's the
your
topic.
Yeah.
parents
We're-
that own the place?
what I'm talking about was back in the day,
Back
as
in the day.
family owned, but you were there working for the family.
For the family, okay.
And now roles have switched where I'm running the restaurants now. They're mine, and I have family working for me.
Do you feel
And-
like you can treat them the same way?
I do,
He does.
but it's not the same.
He does.
Well, you have that relationship.
You do.
You do.
And it's tough. And, a lot of times if you're hiring somebody older, like a mother, a father, a grandmother per se, they have their mindset very, very old school, very how they ran their places. And that's how they want to incorporate it into how you're running your place, which is completely different. And there's a lot of clashing.
Do you find them trying to make the changes?
Yes.
Yes.
And that's a problem. And even
I have single-handedly, I'm sorry to cut you off, but have been there in moments to where I'm going to use this example, salt and pepper on the table. So vintage. Serving at vintage, Nico's mother, Christina, also mama, much love. Was adamant. She came up, she was, her sciatic nerve was just getting to her, and she came up because someone asked for salt and pepper, and she was pissed that she had to come find me because I wasn't around for them to ask me. And she looked at me and said, the second that their food drops on the table, you bring them salt and pepper.
that's what she said.
I was like, I'm sorry, but no, ma'am.
Yeah,
like
thank
if we
you.
were going to have salt and pepper on the tables at all time, or like for every meal, then why are we not just leaving them on the tables?
Yeah.
And if we leave them on the tables, that gives it more of a diner feel than a fine dining feel. And she, cutthroat, was just like, absolutely not. You will put I don't ever want them to have to ask, you bring it.
Crazy.
And so I went up to Nico and I was like, I just want to be very clear because she has a standard of how she wants this place to be run, but this is your place. How do you expect me and or want me and or is it protocol to put the salt and pepper down on the table when the food comes out? He said, absolutely fucking not.
Thank you. Those were my exact words.
And what did he do? He went right up to her and said, no, that's not how I want it to be. If that was the case, word for word, we should just leave them on the tables at all times. Why bring it out just when their entree comes
Correct.
out? It doesn't make sense.
Well, you have that relationship. You can treat her. I don't think everybody out there can treat their family the same way.
I think everybody can. They have
Everybody
the ability
can,
to.
but they choose not to.
Yeah, well,
Because they don't want to
should.
hurt people's feelings.
I don't care. I love my mother. I love my mother with everything in my heart. But no, this is how I'm running things. And she knew that before she came on board. Like, I'm running the show. You're going to listen to what I have to say. I'll listen to your opinions. And if I say, you know what, okay, that's fine. But you're not going to sit there and change things around behind my back of a canvas that I have painted because you want it this way.
All right.
Sorry.
Fair enough.
So now friends.
Oh, hold on. I want to
Okay.
pivot real quick before we go into friends. Now, we all know how Yanni feels about family members working together.
He hates it.
He hates it.
Absolutely hates it.
Hates it.
Hates it.
How many times have you seen family members working together in the industry and it just tears them apart or brings down the restaurant, or you can just see it when
Yeah,
you
but
walk into a place?
Yeah, but it doesn't work like that for every situation, every scenario. You and Yanni work great together.
Oh, no. Yeah.
Celeste and I
Yanni-
are
And your brothers.
freaking dream team. Shout out to my sister. When we worked, like, I feel like managers would end up putting us on the same schedule and putting our sections right next to each other because we do not have to talk.
You
We do
guys
not have to
understand
speak.
each other's roles.
It's not even roles. We just, the way that we move around each other
It's the
without
chemistry.
speaking, it's just like boom, 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 boom. Easy, done. Again, no speaking, no fighting, no this. We just get it done. And then we'll get home and scream at each other like, what you did at table 6 today was messed up, you know? But
Some people work really well together in the friends aspect. I've noticed that in some of the places that I've ran, and it works, and it's a great chemistry. And because they're super happy, it just flows out of them. The energy, the positivity just flows out of them. And there is no bad karma between them because they're great friends and they're going to do whatever needs. And even if it's busy, it'll be okay. You know what I mean? Then you see those friends that are just too involved in each other from the outside world that they're not paying attention to what they're supposed to be doing and causing a different type of chaotic mess, if you know what I'm saying. Like if I'm working with my best friend, we can get the job done, but a lot of times we'll be talking about a lot of other things
Okay.
and not paying attention to what we were supposed to be.
That's
You know
true.
what I'm saying?
Yeah, we get off into cloud
So
nine.
you
or
never
something.
want to kind of put them together also.
All right.
What
Like-
are you smirking?
like when Pete's like, I'm going to come check on Vintage tonight and see how everything's doing and give a helping hand. And then Pete shows up and Pete and Nico are like, you want to go to the car and play a quick round of our game? And then they both just disappear.
Listen, it's not, I swear to you, it's not always the game. We sit down, we talk about life. We talk about
Yeah, right. And then I call one of you and I'm like, where are you? And then I hear the little cha-ching.
No, you don't. Mine's always off. What are you talking about? But I know what you're saying. But for an instance like that, yes.
Yeah, like I get it because I feel like I've worked with people who are really, really close in like just in life. You know, they got the job together, like they come as a package deal, but they're so, like you said, intertwined and I feel like so far up each other's asses that it's just their world. They're not good team players with everyone.
Correct.
You know, like they just team up together and they're on their own.
That's
and
it.
then whoever else is working with them can drown.
It doesn't matter.
They don't
Yeah,
care.
and that's bad too. So
And then, you know, you have like your two duo. I like to say Lena and I, we're very good team players. Like
Correct.
we look out for each other. We look out for everybody. Like when we get to work, we don't talk about outside life unless it's the very beginning at setup and the very end at breakdown. In between, it's like we are literally coworkers. Like we have like a switch in our head. We're like, we're coworkers. Let's do this. Let's move. But then at the
Yeah.
end, we're like, okay, now that our brain cells are dwindling, we're like, so anyway, what did Dylan text you?
well, it comes down to the family
She's
as
gonna
well,
kill me for
because
that.
I've also have a habit of hiring my sons, which I love to death, and I want them to experience something and also make money and also spend time with them.
Sure.
But then, you know, one of the two, I'm not going to mention any names,
Not naming
will
names.
take advantage of the scenario that, you know, hey, it's my dad. I could do whatever I want, get away with whatever, and he's not going to fire me.
Come
But
in late.
it's not true because I did fire him. So sorry, kid. Because, you know,
We
business
miss
is
you.
business. Business is business. And, you know, you can get away with that. But when they start using that as, oh, he's my dad, or, you know, using that as a point, as a getaway free card or whatever, it's not good. It's not good for business. You know, you shouldn't be talking to people like that or getting away with half the stuff that you're not supposed to be doing.
So
touchy.
now that we've talked about this, how do we feel about the interchanging of people in the group? Like right now, for instance, we just brought up Lena. We're opening up a place. Both Lena and I have both been working with you at Vintage. And now that Peter and I are opening up Petunias, I'm stealing Lena.
You're not, though.
I'm not. You know why? Because I am kind and I created a custody
Yeah,
release.
she doesn't want to work for you. She told me yesterday. Sorry, Lena.
Whatever. She called me a day or two ago and was like, so Nico asked and blah, blah, but like, I guess it was brought to her attention by another one of our restaurants that she was working at that company policy is you can't work for more than 2 restaurants at a
most
time.
in our company.
Yeah, in our
Yeah.
company.
Which is not true.
Which is not true.
Which is not true for whoever said that, and I know who you are. But the only situation with that, and the problem that I have, not with this particular situation, is that when you have somebody in a foundation that is a great worker that you have been using, that is familiar with it, and then you allow them to go somewhere else, which of course you'd never stop. But then now you're kind of not just splitting the time, but if you really need somebody, they can't come and help. If somebody called out sick, somebody was in an accident because they're somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And it would work both ways, that you would need them for some special catering you have, but you can't because they're working at the other establishment. So it's kind of like a good thing and a bad thing all at the same time, but you can't spread yourself thin.
I think.
Oh, hi, Pete. You're here.
I'm here. You guys were just so in it.
Sorry, because we're again in a custody
I made some
Nikos and Noelle show.
espresso. And who takes priority? 4th of July weekend comes around.
Yeah, I mean,
Who takes
that's
priority?
huge.
Memorial Day. Who takes priority? What restaurant takes priority? If everybody needs that person, that's the confusion part. That's where it starts getting like this, because there might be some bitterness if Nico's like, you know what, I really need to take. I'm just going to make the decision and take Lena for this shift, and then leaves us in the dust. Or the same way it goes vice versa. If I take him, he's like, now I'm working an 80-seat restaurant with 2 servers instead of 3. I would always say when I was operating Younger Brother, when I opened, Memorial Day, 4th of July, Labor Day, everybody's on the schedule for the whole weekend.
He does say that.
Every time. I'll let you know if you can have off that day, but I want everybody here. You know why?
Correct.
Because when everybody shows up, or he needs help, you need help, they need help, you go there. You go there. I don't care. I just want everybody here. Can't do that if people are split up over 3-4 restaurants. Hey, if I'm splitting everybody up and I want everybody here, I'm going to have 2 people show up to work.
When you have exactly what you're saying, and if you have enough staff, it doesn't matter really. But if you're short staffed, then it does matter, because if they're working the majority of the shifts and you don't have anybody else, it's like, well, I need them.
Well, it's different. If you have 88-seat restaurant, fully whatever. We're going to have a 22-seat fine dining. Our staff's going to be 3 people, 4 people. His staff is what?
6,
8, 10 people, whatever. Between hostess, bussers, food runners, front of the house. Yeah.
But see, that's where it also falls down to, I would never want to take her away from, or anybody away from you, to establish a new business. And now we're just say, just take her. But you know what I mean? It comes down to her as well. And again, I'm not specifically speaking about Lena.
Yeah.
But we're talking about in general with any employee, because they also want to be where they're happy and help and make money. And, you can't force somebody to do something they don't want to do.
Well, I think those are 3
like
different answers. Where are you happy? Where do you help? Where do you make the most money? Those can be 3 separate restaurants at the same time. You could be happy at one, you could be helpful at another, and you can make more money at the third place. Can't have all 3 sometimes.
You can.
No, you
Sorry,
can't
Pete.
sometimes.
You can.
Well, you can sometimes, yeah, but it's totally different, like
Correct.
when it comes down to it. And if you're helping out in the whole group, I don't know which one of you said it, but you're like, they should choose where they need to be. Well, no, you work for the group. You need to help the group out. You need to go where you need to be placed. If you want a restaurant as a home, you just own. But if it's
I think that causes a complete different topic, which we will
I was
address.
just going to say the same thing, just because it's like, we signed up for the group. We signed up to be managing partners. When we have employees, it's like, if I apply to George's Place because I want to work at George's Place in Wildwood because I live 2 blocks down, that doesn't mean that I made myself accessible to work anywhere.
I'm going to schedule you, but
a lot of
if we need help at another restaurant, I'm going to send one of my employees to go. George's Place down the street gets winded or something.
Yeah.
Do you not think it's worth sending one of your employees over there?
The problem that we've occurred in the past is that nobody wants to do it, and they're being forced to do something they don't want to do, or they can't get there, or they're, I know what you're saying, and I agree with what you're saying.
I agree.
But
I just don't think.
This is going to be another episode. We got to film.
I
I'm just saying,
think
that's
that
another
it's like
topic.
a little far stretch when someone applies for something and then you're like, okay, that's cute, but I'm going to put you wherever I want. Like, especially depending on the age, depending on the driving status, depending on this, it's like, or get someone who's more committed, who wants more longevity within the group. Someone like Katie Hess, someone like Nick Pablo or whatever. I would look at them and be like, you go over there, you go help, because they have a bigger agenda in our group than someone who just came to bus because they live 3 blocks away.
They're more versatile too, so
yeah,
they can look like little chameleons.
It's just,
I want to bring Yanni in on I want 4 people on that episode.
Yeah, well,
The 3 of us, and I want Yanni sitting right in the
Do you
middle.
feel defeated right now? Is that what happens?
No,
Do you feel defeated?
I'm actually.
But it's a good topic. No, it's a good topic.
I'm a little shocked on that one.
a
I'm
good
coming
topic.
for you guys for
be
next
very
time.
picky and choosy on who you hire. And when you
Yes.
find someone and you hire them and you train them good and they become your best friend and live with you, you take them wherever you go. I love you, Lita.
That's where our advice is for
Restaurant
Restaurant
Punk.
Punk.
Adios, everybody.
I'm out.
Thank you
Peace
for
out.
joining us.